We have what's called a vision manifesto, and it explains where we're at today, where we want to be in the next 3 to 5 years, based upon, we have an aspirational org chart, which means that we have, with every year we go into it saying, okay, what roles do we want to hire? Who do we want to promote? Things like that. It's expanding the company. We're looking at different areas within Denver. Highlands Ranch is one area, maybe Broomfield. We want to expand our marketing. Our traditional marketing has worked for a long time, but we're heavily invested in the digital. And we think once that pops, that's going to take the business to a whole nother level. And then, to continue that, it's not only to expand, people's opportunities, bring more team members in, but it's really just, for me, I have a selfish vision for each team member to be able to make at least 6 figures based upon their role, their tenure, and their time period. And I don't think you're going to find that in many financial services firms where the receptionist could make 6 figures, or whether, the person that's phone calling. Because if we accomplish that, then, again, everyone wins. And I think that's, one of my personal visions for the company. But when you come aboard BAM, we clearly spell out your role, your career path. I think that's another unique thing that, we've been doing is the minute we hire you, we're going to show you what your career path can be. So there's no question, if you do the work in a year, 2 years, or 3 years, how quickly you can move up within the ranks of the company. And that's if you want it. We don't call ourselves a family. We like to call ourselves a championship team. And if you look at championship teams, not everyone can be a Steph Curry, right? Steph Curry is someone who plays at a high level 80% of the time. But you do need good role players. And role players are important for any championship team. And I think we want our role players to be, the most highly compensated, show up to work in a very supportive, high challenge, high support, and just an environment that just, makes you want to wake up and go, I cannot wait to get in the office today.
It's funny because in everything that I do in BAM, I'm 1,000,000% structured. Like everything has a process. I'm all about crossing the T's, all about dotting the I's. And then when I talk about vision, or when somebody asks me the question about vision, I totally go into a different space. And I think that's really just kind of like the soul and the heart of who I am. My vision for BAM is really, I just want to create a company that is completely trusted and trustworthy by our clients, and of course by our team members as well. I think that stands out in any society, but especially in today's society. I spent a lot of time with my grandparents growing up, and my grandfathers were incredible men. And they were the kind of men who, on a handshake, you could trust their word. And so my vision is being that financial services company for people, and of course for our team members. And then everything else, all the numbers and how quickly we grow and how many people we are, for me, as long as that is the standard, being trustworthy, having each other's back, showing up, sky's the limit. And that always has to remain the same. That has to be the theme that is constant, regardless of whether or not we're a team of 14 people or 150.
So the vision of BAM for you, and I want you to answer this the way that it's written on your vision board in your office. Explain that a little bit.
Somebody have a picture of the whiteboard in my office?
You've been talking about it. This is your vision for BAM.
You
want BAM to be the
Uber of financial planning.
So explain that.
Yeah. So I don't remember who it was. God, my memory stinks sometimes with specifics and what person was on stage and what was their name and what are their accolades and what book they wrote. But it was somebody on stage, I believe at a Triad event, it was at Schwab Impact. Yes. And she told the story about Uber versus a taxi. And she kind of took the audience through, this is what I went through in New York City trying to catch a cab. And she went through all the details, and it was raining and I had an umbrella and I'm waiting and this and that. And then she talks about Uber and that experience, that I can be inside warm where it's cozy, the nice hotel. I know exactly when the driver's coming. I know who's showing up. I know what they're, and she related that to financial services. And so, yes, that is on a technical side, my vision, the Uber of financial services, just to make it easy for people, right? Because finances is always the sticking point. It's almost above health sometimes for people, which I think is kind of wacky. It's above health until you have a health problem. A lot of things I think are above health until people have a health problem. But, finances really just messes with people. It messes with their ability to have just an enjoyable life. And so if we can make that easy, if we can take out and remove the chaos and the worry and the concern, yeah.
And then there's another part that you're focusing on too, developing. That's on your whiteboard. Why don't you talk about that?
Gen 1 and Gen 2 leaders, because that's what BAM Advisory Group needs to continue. Like we are going to hit our time limit of how much time we either want to remain as present in the business or how many hours, say, per week we want to spend in the business. And so somebody has to take over that. We have to be able to pass the baton to somebody else. And so, yes, the focus is creating the Generation 2 and Generation 3 leaders of BAM Advisory Groups to make sure that they can continue to carry out the vision and the mission.
Yeah, Christy and I definitely want this company to continue way after they put us in the dirt.
Why?
I think our industry is really screwed up. It's not standardized. I mean, I think an individual can go meet with 10 different financial advisors and hear different pitches, different philosophies and ways of doing things, and I've been in this 27 years and I've seen the wrong way to do it. We truly believe that we are providing our clients what is in their best interest, right? That fiduciary word, I think, has been weaponized a lot. And we're fixing a lot of problems that we see that other financial advisors either aren't paying attention to, or their firm isn't holding them to a higher standard, or certain people pose as financial advisors, even though they're not licensed to be really financial advisors. So we want to continue that work because the amount of difference, the amount of value that we provide to our clients, I believe, especially now, is needed. And plus the education, like we want to make sure that people have a healthy relationship with their money. We have people that come into our office who have millions of dollars and you could just tell they don't have a good relationship with their money, whether they were raised by parents that were very strict or they feel that they don't have enough or whatever it is. And we just want to make sure that when people hire BAM Advisory Group, not only do they have, one of our taglines is retire with confidence. Not only do they have confidence, but they allow us, our team, to absorb the stress and worry when the world gets sideways. And I think we want that work to continue well past our life cycle.
It's overwhelming sometimes to think about creating a company that can continue past us because there's a lot of work that has to be done. But the driving force for me is, again, taking it back to being a trustworthy company. If we can do that and that can extend past us, that's what society needs. That's what people need, No,
that's
they
deep.
need people that they can trust. They need companies that they can trust. Like we can teach anybody. I tell our team this all the time. I'm like, I could teach anybody how to do paperwork really well, but I can't teach you to be ethical and moral. I mean, hopefully your parents taught you that. Some people like to say, well, if they didn't, then, you grew up to be an adult and it's like too bad. But no, like I want to be that person in other people's lives that is teaching them and mentoring them to be ethical, to, I hate to say it, like take the road less traveled, do the harder work because it's doing right by somebody else. So, David can teach anybody how to be a financial advisor, how to sell, how to connect with a client. But we as a company are teaching them to do it as if they're doing it for themselves. They're doing it for a loved one. I've heard a couple of our team members say recently when we're contemplating like what we should do, it's like, well, what would you do if that was your dad? What would you do if that was your mom? And I think people hear that from me a lot, but that is definitely something that comes out of my mouth on a regular basis. And that is what BAM Advisory Group is about. And that is what we're teaching our team members. And that's what's different. And that's what needs to live on. I've had challenges with our business at times, right? Because people look at financial services or financial advisors or investments and you think about Bernie Madoff and it's all like negative. And I grew up in a household with a mom who was very altruistic. I mean, she didn't have much and she was taking us to St. James Park in downtown San Jose and we were feeding the homeless. So I always had a difficult time with rectifying how I was raised in the things that I really enjoyed and believed in and helping people with like financial services, right? Seems like the big bad bear, so to speak. This is kind of developed, right? I've learned how to bring those two worlds together. And so that's been really cool. And that's a big driving force for me. And it's been a big wake up moment for me. It's like, no, I can do that within the confines of financial services, the financial world.